Namaskara, students, teachers, and guests. Welcome to the celebration of National Science Day at the Brigade Schools. We extend a warm welcome to our founder, Mr. Shankar, CEO of the Brigade Foundation, Dr. Shashidhar, Head of the Brigade Foundation, Mrs. Menon, Administrator, Mr. Cheria, Deputy Head of the Brigade Foundation, Mrs. Karthik, Admin Coordinator, Mr. Thomas, and our three principals, Mrs. Parthasarathi, Mrs. Benegal, and Mrs. Suresh. We are happy to have with us our three guest speakers, Dr. Vineeth Kumar, Dr. Tarun Vemulkar, and Mr. Kumaresh Krishnan. In 1928, an Indian scientist, Sir Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman, discovered a phenomenon of scattering of photons in light, which came to be known as the Raman effect. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for his remarkable discovery in 1930, which was the first Nobel Prize in India in the field of science. In 1986, the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, or NCSTC, asked the Government of India to designate 28th February as National Science Day in honor of Sir C.V. Raman's discovery.
Today, we the students of the Brigade Schools have crafted a program for the Science Day 2022, centered around the theme Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future. The session entails interviews with young and dynamic scientists who are working on cutting edge technology in their respective fields. We hear from a Brigade alumnus about the opportunities in the field of pure sciences that ensure a sustainable future for mankind, and an interesting timeline of scientific inventions curated by the teachers. I quote Marie Curie, two-time Nobel Prize winner, who said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." So, viewers, pay attention to what is about to unfold: a sustainable future with science and technology.
It is our pleasure to welcome the Principal and Professor of Biology at the Center for Advanced Learning, Mangalore, Dr. Vineeth Kumar. He has a PhD in Applied Zoology and has authored many books on birds, butterflies, and insects. Dr. Vineeth Kumar has given guest lectures in universities, published numerous research papers, and received many awards. He has been actively involved in educating children and the general public on science and nature-related projects. Dr. Vineeth Kumar enjoys nature walks, trekking, traveling, and exploration. Yash Sultania interviews our first guest and elicits interesting facts from Dr. Vineeth Kumar. Thank you.
First of all, namaskara to you, sir. Namaskara.
Namaskara.
I am your Sultani of class 10, as ma'am said. And on behalf of the school, I would like to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to be with us here today. Everyone is excited to know more about you. Yeah. And I don't want to keep them waiting. So if we may start off.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first question is from Johan Jain.
Yeah.
He asks, did you have any role model or any person that you looked up to or any person that just helped you choose your career path?
Yeah, there's not one, maybe I can say a couple of people who have helped me in this field. So if you see, as a student, I was in my bachelor's degree and I happened to attend one workshop or a seminar, on amphibians. And the very fascinating world of amphibians driven me. And Dr. K.V. Gururaja was the resource person then. He's from IAC. Now he's in another institute in Bangalore. And he motivated me then. That particular incident took me a long way, and I think because of him, I am a researcher today.
Thank you for that, sir. If I may ask, were there any challenging aspects of pursuing it, maybe?
Challenging aspects, yes. There are challenges, but it's how you take it, like, sort of. If you know that if you want to achieve something, all these are hurdles you need to pass through, right? So one thing is maybe working in the forest in the night, for example.
Next up, Sushmeen Kaur has a question, the answer to which the developing world has been looking for over the years. She asks, what is the difference between ESG and sustainability?
So ESG is more like a quantitative measure, I can say, where companies are evaluated based on giving some values based on their ecological or environmental and social and governance aspects of the companies. And it's more like for shareholders and stakeholders. We give a value to them. But sustainability is more like a qualitative one, where you can't measure it. Sustainability cannot be measured, but ESG can be measured, right? So that's a major difference here.
Thank you for that explanation. However, Sushmeen Kaur has another question. What does greenwashing mean?
Greenwashing is just like, it's like, sounds like brainwashing, right? Somewhat. So greenwashing is where companies state something that they are sustainable and their products are sustainable, they leave little carbon footprint, but still behind the scene, actually they are not. It's like something like that. So the greenwashing is just like a way of showing or cheating by numbers.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you, sir. So the next question is from all of us, no one in particular. So we wanted to ask that we are in this juncture in life where we are not sure where we are going or where we want to go. That's why we ask you if you were sure about what you wanted to pursue in life and how and when did you know that?
Okay. So as a kid, maybe I was not very sure what I wanted to do. Maybe I wanted to become a pilot, maybe as most of the kids want to. But to tell you a story, there's a frog called the purple frog. Okay. So my mentor, Dr. S.T. Biju, whom I know very close, so he discovered this species in 2003, and they could tell that using a frog model, they could say that there was continental drift because the cousins of this frog are living in Seychelles Island on the east of Africa. So whereas frog can speak of continental drift, just imagine. So
thank you very much, sir, for answering all of our questions with such patience and clarity. What we have learned today will streamline our thoughts to a great extent. It has been delightful to have you with us this fine evening, and thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yes, you are just fabulous. I mean, you talk better than me. Okay, don't worry. Yes.
Science, a world of infinite possibilities.
He is the man in whose honor we celebrate the National Science Day, Sir C.V. Raman.
There are thousands of inventions and discoveries which have changed the world.
Here are a few early discoveries and inventions, along with the ones from the 17th century onwards that made an impact.
The use of flint to start a fire was discovered in the early Stone Age. It's believed that learning to make and control fire was one of the earliest discoveries made by humans. Without fire, it would be impossible to cook the food we love to eat. The next big invention that guided us forward was the wheel. Historical evidence suggests that the first wheel was developed in 3500 BC during the Bronze Age.
1600, William Gilbert discovered that Earth behaves like a huge magnet.
1610, Galileo Galilei used the telescope systematically to observe celestial objects and recorded his discoveries.
1628, William Harvey. He was the first to recognize the full circulation of blood in the human body.
1665, Robert Hooke discovered cell, the smallest unit of life.
Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, father of microbiology. He invented the single lens microscope and observed microorganisms.
1687, Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity.
1735, Carl Linnaeus created a uniform system for naming the organisms known as binomial nomenclature.
1778, Antoine Lavoisier formed the basis of modern chemistry using Joseph Priestley's discovery of oxygen.
1800, Alessandro Volta invented the voltaic pile, the first modern electric battery.
In the year 1805, John Dalton introduced the atomic theory.
1827, George Ohm derived the relation between current and voltage.
1848, William Thomson, known as Lord Kelvin, invented the International System of Absolute Temperature Scale.
1859, Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace proposed that evolution occurs because of phenomena called natural selection.
Charles Darwin said, "It's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable to change."
1865, Gregor Mendel developed the principles of inheritance. He is regarded as the father of genetics.
1869, Dmitry Mendeleev devised the periodic table of the elements. 1898, Marie Curie discovered polonium and radium. She championed the use of radiation in medicine.
In the year 1905, Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity.
1913, Niels Bohr proposed the model of an atom in which electrons travel in defined circular orbits around the nucleus.
1924, Edwin Hubble discovered that countless galaxies exist beyond our own Milky Way galaxy.
1996, researchers at the Roslin Institute cloned Dolly the sheep.
2019, the first ever image of a black hole was captured using 8 different telescopes.
2020, NASA and Sophia discovered about 12 ounces of surface water in one of Moon's largest visible craters.
January 2020, Pfizer's COVID vaccine completed trials and was ready for use. December 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope, NASA's most powerful and complex space telescope, was launched successfully.
2022 February, a third planet named Proxima Centauri d is detected orbiting Proxima Centauri, the nearest known star to the Sun.
Dr. Tarun Vemulkar graduated magna cum laude from the University of Pennsylvania, USA, with an MSc in Material Science and secured his PhD in Physics from Cambridge University, UK. Dr. Vamulkar is the co-founder, director, and chief technology officer of the startup company Semarion Ltd, based in Cambridge. During a PhD and postdoctoral research tenure in the Department of Physics at the University of Cambridge, he spearheaded the investigation of advanced magnetic nanoparticles for life sciences applications as a therapy for brain cancer. His work has received regular research grants and he has authored numerous publications. On the weekends, you will find Dr. Vemulkar running half marathons, hiking, camping, and rock climbing. He is an avid reader, ardent animal lover, and an innovative chef. Swayam Tayalia steers us through this interesting interview on the ever-pervading influence of nanotechnology in the future. Thank you.
Namaskara, Dr. Vemulkar. I am Swayam Tayalia, a grade 9 student at the Brigade Schools. It gives me great pleasure to talk about nanotechnology with you today. My peers and I would like to ask you a few questions. Our first question is from Advika Kulkarni. She would like to know, what made you decide to choose science as a career path rather than the more conventional careers like engineering or law? Were you supported by your parents?
Thanks, Mayam. That's a very good question, actually. And I think what drove me to choose science really was more a personality trait than anything else. I think I'm just an intensely curious person. I like to figure out how things work. I wasn't great at math, which meant engineering was a little bit trickier for me, as you can imagine. So I think I just, chose science because I wanted to really understand how the world works. And actually, to be honest, I started off my career as an engineer in the end. I started off doing material science, which is a type of engineering. And then when I went to do my PhD, I switched into physics. So even if you do actually pick a career path, it often turns out that it isn't quite what you sort of think it's going to be. Because funnily enough, even though my PhD is in physics, I spend most of my time studying cells, which are a type of biological system.
My next question is from Dhruv Bhavani Kumar, our own eco-warrior. And his concern is, will nanotechnology reduce pollution and help the earth become a better place?
That's a very, very insightful and very topical question. I'm a bit of an eco-warrior myself, so I sympathize fully with Dhruv. The short answer is yes, of course, and nanotechnology is already doing so. I can give you a quick example of that. Basically factories or even cars actually that burn fossil fuels obviously often produce a significant amount of pollution. What is actually implemented in a lot of cars and in a lot of factories is they have what's known as either a catalyst converter or just a generic air purification system that's put into the exhaust system of such either vehicles or factory systems. And these are often basically nanomaterials that do one of two things. Either they actually capture and trap pollutants themselves, or they work as catalysts and engage in a chemical reaction that actually purifies the sort of air coming out of the exhaust systems. So in that sense, they're already very actively being used towards air pollution reduction and will continue to sort of do so going forward. So from a variety of angles, you're actually going to see nanotechnology, nanomaterials play a significant role in reducing the effects of pollution globally. And of course, as I mentioned, you have areas like solar cells as well. Interestingly enough, sort of wind turbines actually have a nano-based coating on them to make them more efficient, prevent ice buildup. So again, improves their performance. So in a variety of small areas, and big areas, you really see nanotechnology being deployed across a variety of fields to really impact making our world a better place, basically.
Wow, I mean, I never realized nanotechnology could something be so small and used for such minute things, be used to solve such big issues, like you said, the wind turbines and now electric cars and even in solar cells. It is very good to know this. I'm sure many of our students, like Dhruv, would be happy to hear that. Yes, sir. I honestly never realized the huge role nanotechnology played in our everyday lives, even something so small as applying sunscreen, like you said. We have now come to the end of our program, and on behalf of all the students and staff at the Brigade Schools, I thank you for patiently answering our questions, lending clarity, and giving us enough material to ponder and discuss. Thank you, sir.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Swayam. This was one of the more enjoyable interviews that I've had
Thank you,
in
sir.
the recent past, and you did a very, very good job as the host. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
As said by Carl Sagan, somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known.
Today, we're excited to hear from an alumnus of the Brigade School at JP Nagar, batch of 2012. Kumaresh Krishnan graduated from the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore in July 2018 with a master's degree. At Harvard, as a research scientist working at the interface of computer science, neuroscience, and artificial intelligence, his professional goal is to pursue research in novel, brain-inspired computing systems. That's not all there is to Mr. Krishnan. In his own words, the smooth flight of a badminton shuttle and the beats of a bouncing basketball keep me occupied on most evenings to lend a healthy distraction from academic work. A tryst with rhythm from my childhood has left me as a professional percussionist on the mridanga, and I still continue to perform. Let us listen in as he enlightens us further on his take in science and technology for a sustainable future.
Hi everyone, I'm Kumaresh. Not so long ago, I would have been at your end of this special session. It's a pleasure to be sharing some of my thoughts with you for this year's Science Day Special Assembly. Currently, I'm a PhD student working in the domain of neuroscience and artificial intelligence. Of course, you can ask me if this is where I wanted to be all along. How did I know? When did I know? And so on. Like many, it took a while to settle down into this role. A large part of my academic journey has been driven by trying to learn more about the lesser known. It went through fleeting interests in theoretical physics, origins of the universe, became more concrete towards brain-inspired computing systems, and then finally settled into neuroscience and artificial intelligence where I am today. Under the theme of today's special assembly, I figure I will answer a few of the questions from your end, which were definitely very thought-provoking, and hit the nail on groping domains like artificial intelligence and neuroscience in the context of sustainability. First of all, I'd like to say we're a long way from replicating the human brain. Advancements in artificial intelligence have crept into many fields, like healthcare, where we have diagnostic healthcare, predictive, and characterizing different diseases as well. Making sense of large amounts of data is almost always a place where these systems can aid us. In neuroscience research, working directly with human brains has ethical issues if you need to implant something or insert something. So, a lot of the research is done with what are called model organisms. These might be mice, fish, worms, flies. Each of these organisms has an advantage in studying particular aspects of the brain. In the context, we've come a long way in analyzing activity in the brain, modifying certain parts, even looking at behavioral consequences. I'm going to take this conversation back to artificial intelligence systems in the context of India. There's a broad scope for utilizing their potential, but given the time constraints, I'll just list a small subset. Smart irrigation systems, security and surveillance, medical research, intelligent light consumption models, weather modeling, business initiatives, in fact, a whole field called neuromarketing, which revolves entirely around modeling the mind of a consumer. Artificial intelligence is not all encompassing. Understanding what machines do well and what humans can do well is a key factor. You can't plug in artificial intelligence everywhere and expect it to work. And currently, there's a long way to go before we trust these systems with critical decisions. An extreme example might be deciding whether a patient should be kept on life support or not. Thanks for listening, and thanks for giving me this opportunity. And feel free to reach out to me in some form with questions. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed the National Science Day program. The speeches, interviews, teachers' presentation, and facts about science have stoked the fire of curiosity within all of us. A sustainable future for our world is the responsibility of every human being, and we hope this program brought home its importance to you. We are grateful to Dr. Vineeth Kumar, Dr. Tarun Vemulkar, and Mr. Kumaresh Krishnan for sparing us some time from their busy schedules, giving us a brief overview of the career path and providing us with the inspiration to pursue science and technology. At this juncture, I extend my deepest gratitude to everyone present here for joining us today. A big thank you to all in making the virtual Science Day celebrations a success. Let us end this program with a quote by the famous scientist Albert Einstein, words that we should all live by. The important thing is to never stop questioning. Thank you. Namaskara.